can see a truck driver nodding off. Then this.
Well, take a look at this. Wow, this is what happens when people fall asleep at the wheel. A driver of a tanker truck ran off a highway near Dallas.
You fell asleep at the wheel? You fell asleep at the wheel?
Drowsy driving is detrimental to the trucking industry, whether a wreck occurs or not. In this video, we're going to look at just how dangerous drowsy driving is, how prevalent it is, who it hurts, and how we can all work to help reduce it. I'm Ken from My Little Salesman, and there's no need to take notes on this video as we've included a written version with sources linked in the description of this video. Let's get started. So what specifically is fatigued driving? Though drowsy driving falls under this category of impaired driving, fatigue driving combines simply being drowsy with the fatigue that comes with long spans of time behind the wheel. Though anyone can be a drowsy driver, we're specifically going to look at how truck drivers are prone to fatigue driving and just how inordinately deadly it is when a trucker engages in fatigued or drowsy driving. Just how dangerous is drowsy driving? When compared to the symptoms and effects of fatigue driving, such a state can be equated to drunk driving. According to the National Sleep Foundation, just being awake for 18 continuous hours has the same impact on one's reaction time to having a blood alcohol content of 0.05%, approaching the DUI limit of many states. Remaining awake beyond that can result in the equivalent reaction time compared to having a 0.1% blood alcohol level, far exceeding the legal blood alcohol limit usually accepted at around 0.8% or considered impaired. But what happens when you mix drowsy driving with trucking? This is a combination that is especially deadly. Put into perspective, let's look at some statistics. According to a 2015 DOT figure, 35,092 people died in highway accidents. 11% of those fatal accidents involved large commercial trucks. Fatigue driving played a role in 15% of major truck-related accidents and 30% of accidents resulting in a fatality. What does this mean? Yep, that's a lot of data to process, so let's simplify it. Using the before-mentioned data, this essentially means that for every 50 truck drivers you see on the highway, at least one of them is driving in a fatigue state approaching or beyond the impaired reaction time of a legally drunk driver. Who does drowsy driving hurt? Well, all drivers, for starters. According to the before-mentioned 2015 DOT report, even though heavy trucks were only involved in about 3.8% of highway accidents, they're also involved in 11% of fatal highway accidents, with some 30% of fatal accidents involving heavy trucks involving fatigued driving, according to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration data. All in all, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, drowsy driving is related to about 1,221 fatalities a year, or around 2.4% of fatal accidents in 2021. And these figures are likely much higher due to the inconsistent nature of reporting drowsy driving. Drowsy driving also obviously hurts truck drivers. On the most base level, drowsy driving results in accidents that hurt or even kill truck drivers. But even for those truck drivers that are able to engage in drowsy driving without causing accidents, they're not unscathed. A work lifestyle in which fatigue driving is a possibility is a symptom of an unsustainable work environment. Few incidents of drowsy driving are outliers. They are likely preceded by many unreported close calls and near misses. All reports of drowsy driving, accident causing or not, should cause any trucking entity, the driver and company both, to reevaluate their driving practices and driver expectations. We will discuss these further in this piece. Drowsy driving also hurts trucking companies. In addition to the loss of life and limb due to dozing drivers, the sheer monetary costs of drowsy driving, from work interruptions, health insurance claims, equipment damage, and litigation, is immensely expensive for companies. Where such instances of rampant driver abuse exist in the form of unreasonable driver expectations can bruise the brand image of certain trucking companies. High-profile clients may become wary of connections to companies in the news and courts for fostering conditions and expectations that result in fatigue-induced wrecks. Simply put, drowsy driving is bad for business. Aren't there any laws against fatigue driving? Yep. Though there have been many laws on the books aimed at trucking companies in attempts to curb fatigue driving, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration handed down a major overhaul of such regulations in 2015. Some of the laws include: it is illegal to require a driver to drive when alertness is impaired, whether through fatigue, illness, or other reasons. Drivers may not work more than 70 hours a week unless they take 34 hours of rest time, which includes 2 nights. There is a 30-minute required break for the first 8 hours on duty. And a driver that has worked for 14 consecutive hours is required to then take 10 consecutive hours off before returning to work. Why do truck drivers drive when drowsy? Before we got started, you may have been wondering why drivers would ever attempt to risk driving drowsy. They can't be that irresponsible, right? And you'd mostly be correct. But some of the blame falls on the nature of the trucking industry and the way drivers move up in the industry. You see, most truck drivers are not employees, but rather are independent contractors that are paid by the mile and rated on their ability to deliver their loads on time. Drivers may also not be in control of when their mandated breaks occur, causing them to attempt to sleep even when they're not acclimated to such a sleep schedule. These conditions, combined with longer load times, which may be unpaid hours for independent contractors, and truck driver shortages, have both drivers as well as their dispatch supervisors on edge about offsetting delays. Sadly, this dash for miles can result in a driving while drowsy, aka fatigue driving. How to tell if you are impaired by fatigue. Sometimes it can be tricky to tell if you're drowsy. Here are a few telltale signs of possible impairment due to drowsiness. Slightly blurring vision. Inability to focus, either on the road or on an audio program. Inordinate daydreaming or sensation of being elsewhere. Frequent blinking or a yawning. Swerving, even slightly. The feeling of heavy eyelids, a heavy head, or unintentional nodding. Irritability, or the inability to recall the last few moments. If you begin to feel any of these sensations or otherwise feel impaired, pull over in a safe area to rest. Fearing repercussions from dispatch supervisors, decreased mileage, or missing deadlines is not a good reason to drive when you feel impaired. Also remember that the DOT law is on your side, which states that operation may be discontinued at the driver's discretion. So you're not only in charge of your truck, but whether or not you should drive. So what can drivers do to avoid drowsy driving? Guard your sleep schedule. Getting adequate sleep is not only key to remaining a safe driver, but also a healthy individual. To ensure you get to sleep in time to obtain the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep per 24-hour period, set 2 sleep alarms. One to remind you to prepare for sleep, and another lights out alarm. To assist in getting quality sleep, avoid caffeinated beverages about 5 hours before sleep time. Use blackout curtains or a sleep blindfold to keep out light. Try to go to sleep at the same time every day or night. And avoid sleep-inhibiting blue light-emitting screens before sleep, such as phones or TVs. Keep your truck cab cool. A warm environment can cause you to become drowsy. If you're feeling tired, bring the temperature slightly below your normal comfort level. Embrace the power nap. Whenever you feel impaired or when time allows, short power naps anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes can have a dramatic impact on your alertness. Try to keep them under 30 minutes, however, to avoid impacting your normal sleep schedule. Even if you're unable to gain any detectably meaningful sleep during such a time, regular practice over time can help train your mind to fully utilize the power nap window. Because most caffeinated beverages take about 30 minutes to kick in, some power nappers report that consuming a caffeinated beverage just before their power nap acts somewhat like a delayed fuse that allows them to come out of their nap feeling less groggy. Revisit the food you consume. You are what you eat, and what you're eating may be making you sleepy. To keep you from growing sluggish behind the wheel, try to avoid heavier, less nutritious foods and sugars. Heavily processed foods require more energy to break down and pack less of a nutrient punch, not only leaving you tired, but hungry again. Sugar can help wake you up, but a sugar crash can leave you even drowsier than you were before. Drink more water. Drinking water is essential for efficient bodily function, keeping you alert and feeling great as you roll down the road. Water also helps combat drowsiness and headaches from strained vision, something that impacts drivers who have put many hours behind the wheel in a shift. Engage your mind. The repetitious nature of the road can lead to daydreaming and drowsiness. To combat this, consider ways to engage your mind. Find podcast programs on subjects that pique your interest or make you laugh. Arrange safe phone conversations with friends or family for moments when you are prone to drowsiness or boredom. Either of these are great ways to keep your mind from drifting into drowsiness on the road. Seek out an overall healthy lifestyle. To make living healthy as easy for truckers as possible, we've compiled 16 simple health hacks for truckers in video, podcast, and written form. These versions of this guide include tips on eating well, increasing physical mobility, and maintaining one's peace of mind. You can find this free guide linked in the description of this video. But just don't forget, we're in this together. Combating drowsy driving is in the best interest of truck drivers, trucking companies, and the public. For this reason, we must all do what we can to allow for the safest working conditions in which drivers do not feel pressured to drive impaired. It is within all of our power to advocate for driver safety, whether in their physical health or economic stability, and celebrate the companies that are doing more to further the well-being of their hired drivers. That about does it for this video from your friends at My Little Salesman. Since 1958, your friends at My Little Salesman have been connecting commercial vehicle and heavy equipment buyers with reputable sellers all over the United States and Canada and beyond. To find your next rig or learn how to list your inventory, head over to mylittlesalesman.com to get started. If you learned something from this video, let us know what it was in the comments, and feel free to give it a like and subscribe so the algorithm can serve up more like it. I've been Ken, and we'll see you next time.